Welcome back. And now we're diving deeper into the principles of copywriting mastery. We want to recap a couple of things here. The number one rule of selling is that people don't like the idea of being sold, right? So from that concept came the theory of resistance, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So you have to acknowledge selling resistance. Remember I used that analogy of going to a car dealer and you're already braced for the obnoxious sales effort that's coming your way? Well, you have to acknowledge that in your copy, because basically people who get mail, they just sift through it and they can tell right away when they're being sold and they'll toss it. Or if they're watching something online and it's being shoved in their face, they'll move on. So there's a natural resistance to being sold. And Katie says that you can overcome this by connecting with your prospects on an emotional level, as we talked about, some sort of promise that hits home to what they're looking for, and then offering solutions to their problems. It's really that simple. Know what they need and bring it to them. So we're going to go deeper into this, because your job is to help your prospect solve a problem or achieve a goal, as we said. But you have to think about the resistance that they'll instantly have if you do it in too strong or sales pitchy kind of way. If you approach with that perspective, you're helping someone that you care about accomplish something important to them. Your writing will be stronger and more effective. So let's look specifically at the theory of resistance. This is Bill Bonner, another incredibly successful copywriter, and his take on it is that two parties in every transaction have an agenda. The seller wants to get the buyer to take the offer. The buyer wants to avoid wasting time and money and listening to a pitch. So you have there's a tension there. The buyer anticipates the seller's push and actively resists. Car dealer lot, any other type of place where you're going to get a hard sell, that's what's happening. There's a tension. There's an instinct, there's a bracing. Oh no, here it comes. So consider the sequence of a buyer tossing junk mail. You get your mail, just like I do, and you look through it, and everything's boring, and you throw it away. But if you have an envelope with a beneficial promise that really hits home to something you're trying to solve, whether it's gutter cleaning or losing weight or anything, you might stop to consider that message, and you might open the envelope, because the envelope teaser was written in the right way. So then they open the envelope and the buyer makes a decision. Is the message still awesome? Is it still something they want to read? If so, they'll continue. If the message is just obnoxious or flat, boom, there it goes in the trash. So you're constantly having to fight that tension and overcome it. And that's why we have those 4 Ps and these other principles that will guide you through that and overcome that tension. It's the same with email and websites. It's not just direct mail. Now imagine if you get a really mediocre or every day, everybody says this all the time type of email subject line. You're not going to open the email. Here we have a good one. Your free night is waiting for you. Okay, I want a free night at a hotel. I'm going to open that. And then when you click on that email subject line, you might end up on a page like this with another good, compelling headline. Stay free, that's me. Stay twice, get a free night. Good stuff, right? If it clicked on a landing page that said something completely flat or irrelevant, then you'd lose the prospect, right? So make sure it carries through everything you're doing. Now, the prospect is a moving target. I show this example here because they're talking about the personal driver world and how it's kind of exploded. And there are several options now. So you can't just rely on what was true a year ago. And we all know that recently there have been stories about different driver companies getting into trouble or having issues. So the prospect's mindset might be different now in that frame. And you have to think about that. So you don't want to waste their time with the same old messages. So you don't want to waste the prospect's time with something they've already heard or something that isn't relevant right now. The same messages heard over and over again become noise, and people ignore them. And the only case where that might work still is if a promotion worked really well and they keep mailing it and it keeps driving responses, but it might not be with the same customer over and over again. So if you're reaching the same customers, you need to shake up your messages and respond to what they're seeing now in their marketplace and in their world. Their options may change, just as these have for the different driver companies. New copy is constantly needed. You want to be testing new messages all the time. So here's a recipe for victory when you're creating messages. Take an unexpected angle. Now, it doesn't have to be crazy unexpected. It can be something as simple as what Juno is doing here. Juno treats drivers better and drivers treat you better. Join to enjoy 35% off all rides in New York during your first month. So that's unique from the other driver companies out there, I assume, because they're making the case that they're better. Now, it has to be unique. I think that that's what they're doing here. They have to surprise and delight. Is this a delightful message? Yeah, I want to be treated better. Is it fresh and relevant? It is, because the climate right now is very competitive, and some of the big players and the people who staked out the driver world are being shaken up. So it is addressing current events, and it's kind of cool to see how someone is very much on top of what's happening now. Now, here's an example from 1973, still powerful, The Lazy Man's Way to Riches. This means you can get rich without doing anything. Who wouldn't want that, right? So it was a very successful promotion in many ways because of the whole thing, but this headline grabbed people, especially if they'd like to get rich doing basically nothing. Now let's fast forward to right now. We have this promotion, which is very similar in concept. It's the secret to clientless copywriting. Make 6 figures writing a single message a day. So wow, you can become rich working 10 minutes a day, writing 1 email a day. That's almost the same idea, but it's for today. Now, you want to test everything. You want to test your headline, your offer, the way that people might get into the copy. We have bonuses to offer. Omaha Steaks has been a wildly successful direct response company forever. I'm not even sure when they started, but a long time ago. And they're constantly sending, I happen to order steaks for my stepmom every year. So they send me all these different promotions, and every single one is a test. So it might be free smoked ham one week, and then next week it might be free shipping on an order of $100 or more. And then the following week it might be some sort of combo deal. But they're always testing because they want to see if they can boost their results. You should try the same thing. And now we're going on to another secret I really love.